Good day, everyone, and welcome to lesson number 17, formative assessment, feedback and correction. So we're going to be doing a feedback in terms of your assessment and the correction, which it's a revision of the F1. So F1 covered both chapter 1 and chapter 2 together, which was from page 161 to 164. So this is on your textbook, Finance in Media. So everything that you were being tested on was on your textbook. So the reason we made it an open book is that to allow you guys to be able to also manage to reference the book, since the concept are new to you guys and you won't be able to grab the full concept at an early stage. So we are allowed to say that let's give them an open book so that you can still reference some terminologies and get to understand some of the concept. So based on this test, 60% of the test, I would say that it was on the textbook. Most of it, similar activities, similar structures, everything was just there. So we're expecting you guys to perform a very bit much better, and we're expecting a higher pass rate than what actually happened. So as indicated, it is important that you attend your class regularly and make sure that you participate during class, ask questions, and then do follow-ups, as well as to complete textbook activities covered in each and every lesson. So the reason behind this is so that we encourage you so that you are able to ask questions where you don't understand, do more application in terms of the concept being covered so that you know how to do this application. You get more info and you get to understand better when you talk to others about a particular concept. So this is the reason behind the what to do in terms of the lessons that we are always covering. And another important thing is the learning outcome for this lesson. So under this lesson, we are going to talk about what was required in the formative assessment, know how to tackle different types of questions asked in the assessment, identify the mistakes that you made in the assessment, and learn the correct way of answering the question in the test, as well as taking corrective action in making sure you don't repeat the same mistake in the supplementary or summative assessment. So in terms of the formative assessment, you just wrote the F1. So this was everything that was being tested on. You were required to demonstrate and apply the basic principle underlying business mathematics and accounting, which was part of chapter 1. Applying the order of operation conversion to basic mathematics problem in a business, still part of chapter 1. Finding the missing figure for simple mathematics problem, performing calculation involving fraction using the four basic operation, performing calculation with decimal using the four basic operation, demonstrating the use of a percentage in a business environment, analyze financial statement, prepare an income statement. All of these you were required to actually get. You were tested on all of these concepts, which was part of chapter 1 and chapter 2. And some of the concept or one question actually covered a lot of concept within it, so we're expecting you guys to be able to achieve a lot or score more marks because of an open book test. One of the most of the question that repeated and using similar structure was the part where we're asking you to find the missing figure of a simple mathematical problem. So most question we taught you how to actually get to find the final answer. So on some of those questions we asked you to reverse, so where you are actually having a missing figure and you're trying to solve for that. And one of the things that is missing here, it was on chapter 2 we covered equations as well as formulas, where I taught you that in some cases, in terms when you're working in a business, you will find that you know certain information but there is an information that is missing, so you can actually get to draft an equation to actually get to that answer. So while most of the question, I think 3 or 4 questions, were actually asking you to perform that, to draft an equation and solve for that. So some of the things that we covered, or some of the things that I'm going to emphasize on section 1, which was all about basic mathematics and accounting application. So in terms of section A, I'm going to emphasize more on question 1, what was required, what was expected from you to do, and how were you supposed to answer this question. Then we move to question number 3, which was also an intermediate question, a bit tricky in some few of the questions, up to 3.6, where some of the questions were actually requiring to actually get to use your English communication skills for you to be able to understand what the question was actually entailing and what was required for you to do. And then question number 6, I will say it was an intermediate to advanced question, which we're expecting you to perform some number of calculation for you to achieve the objective of this question, which I'm also going to emphasize more on this in terms of what was required and how we're supposed to analyze the question or interpret the question. And then we're also going to talk about section B, financial statement analysis. So on this section, most of the things on this section were on your textbook on page 26, where you actually just supposed to open page 26 or page 36, and then you are gonna be having answers to everything relating to this question. So this question was more of a giveaway question, so I was expecting you guys to score at least a minimum of 10 marks because everything was there on your textbook, and it was as simple as they come in terms of questions that can be tested under this section. In terms of number 13, which was part of section number B, this question during one of the lessons, I think I've covered this question in another tutorial lesson that we actually have during class, including the mock exam for those who attended. They will notice that this question, I also give them a similar question to this. So I was expecting at least a higher performance under this question. And then section B, or section C. So this was supposed to be section C, practical accounting. So under this question, it was out of 30, and I was expecting everyone to be able to score a minimum of 20 marks going upwards, because on your textbook there was a similar question or a similar structure question that if you reference to that, you will be able to actually get to achieve all the marks under this question. It was as simple as it is. It had at least a minimum of 12, I think 12 to 15 marks which were giveaway, which some of you still even managed to fail to score those marks, which I was a bit shocked and disappointed in terms of the performance on this question. So this question, I was also expecting you guys, most of you, to score 30, at least a minimum of 20 marks. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna jump and go towards straight to the question, that paper that you wrote, and we're gonna work on that paper as part of the correction of the paper, as well as analysis and feedback. And then the last lesson that we're gonna focus on, which is the next coming lesson, it's interpreting financial results. So, but before we talk about the next lesson, let's go into the revision of the test. So this is the test that you guys were expected to write. So under this test, you were given 3 hours. The test was written on the 14th of April 2023 from 9 to 11, and it was out of 100. The pass mark was 50%. So if you have scored 50%, just note that. Sorry, so if you scored 50%, just note that you have managed to pass the formative assessment test 1. So if you managed not to score, if you didn't manage to score 50%, just note that you will be writing supplementary, and information or communication will be given to you in a short period of time. So just be on a lookout for communication in terms of supplementary. So this is the paper. We're going to start with section A, question number 1. So in terms of question number 1, it says that here, have a look at Pedro report card for the second semester of 2023. And due to printing error, he cannot see his mark for finance in media. So what percentage did Pedro get for finance in media? The question was having 5 marks. So under this question, let's take a look at Pedro report cards, as we have been requested to do that. So we can see that his card is for semester 2 2023. There is a student number, so he's doing the following module: creative writing, video journalism, communication studies, and finance and media. So these are the 5 modules that he's currently doing. Each module he have scored a certain marks respective to each module. To say that for creative writing you have scored 55, video you have scored 65, journalism you have scored 52, communication you have scored 70, and then the average performance for the student for that semester was 66%. So the question now says, what percentage did Pedro get for finance in media? So under this question, we're using the terminology, or we're using the concept of calculating the average. So you have been given the average, and you've also been given the other modules score. So what you can actually do to actually understand or to find the finance in media score, you will actually have to work with an average, because the average represent all the scores that the student scored in all the modules that he or she is currently doing. So under this case, what we can do is to go and say, let's take a look at the number of modules that Pedro is doing. So number of modules, or number of subjects. So number of subjects are 5. And then if number of subjects are 5, so what we will understand is that if when we calculate the average, meaning that the average will be based out of 500, so we're going to add all of the modules that you actually have, divide all of those by 500 to get the average result of this semester, and then from there we multiply that by 100. So meaning that his average is totally based out of, since all modules are out of 100, so I will say that this average is based out of 500, which is uh, 5 times 100. And then from there I will say that, so once we go and say odd, when we add all these module and divide them by 500, we're gonna get an average of 66%. So meaning that 66% is representing an average of 500, which is the total score that you actually got out of 500. So meaning that if we go and say 500 multiplied by 66%, so this will give us the total score that he got out of all the modules that he has. So meaning that this will going to be uh, this is going to be, let's see, my calculator is on top of what I'm writing. So that will be 500 multiplied by 66%. So that will be 330. So meaning that for Pedro, under his semester 2, he managed to score a total of 330 out of 500, so which is made out of 5 modules. So meaning that per each module, let's calculate how much did he actually get to score. So in terms of creative writing, he scored 55, in terms of video he scored 65, and in terms of communication he scored 70, sorry, 52 in terms of journalism, and then he's then scored 70 for communication, and then he's then scored an unknown value, which I'm just gonna say that this is x, and then I'll say this is equals to 330, to say that all the modules that he wrote, so meaning that the total is supposed to be 330. So this is the first method you can use to actually get to find the value, which is for finance in media. So then from there we're going to add everything up. So where we are going to say 55 plus 65 plus 52 plus 70. So all of this is equals to 240. So we're going to have 240 plus an unknown value for finance in media, which is going to be represented by x, equals to 330. So meaning that x will be equals to 330 minus 242. So we are actually trying to make x the subject of the formula, which was under lesson number 2, under equation lesson that we actually performed not so long ago. So meaning that now x will actually be equals to 330 minus 242, so that will be 88. So meaning that Pedro scored for finance in media will be 88. So meaning that the finance in media score is 88%. So this will be what Pedro scored in finance in media. He scored 88% for him to have an average of 66%. So the other way for us to be able to achieve this is to go and do the following. So this is another method to calculate, or so we can just go and say, for us to be able to achieve, to find the 66%, we are going to add all the modules that he wrote, all the scores, divide by the sum of all the modules, which is the base, which is 100 multiplied by 5, which is 500. This will all equal to 66%. So we're going to say 55 plus 65 plus 52 plus 70 plus x. All of these will be divided by 500, should be equals to 66% or 66 out of 100. So 66 out of 100 is the same as 0.66. So meaning that now we're going to add everything up. So we're gonna still have 242 inside brackets since it's on top, plus x. All of this will be divided by 500 and will be equals to 66. Will be equal to 66 out of 100. So meaning that under this case now what we are going to try to do is to say uh, let's actually make x the subject of the formula. So since we are having both a fraction on one side and a full fraction on the other side, what we're gonna do, we're gonna cross multiply. So when we cross multiply, the denominator of the other from the left side will multiply the numerator from the right side. So some of you guys call this the box method. So I'm not sure if you were taught this under the box method. So the principle or the methodology that we're applying, it's called the cross multiplication. So meaning that we are going to have 100 multiplying 242 plus x being equals to 66 multiplying 500. So we're going to end up with 100 into 242. You can multiply 100 with everything inside the brackets. So you're going to have 240. You're going to have so when you multiply that, so this is the value that you're going to get. 242 multiplied by 100, you're going to get 24,200. So the reason I don't want to do that is because where there is a methodology or there is a rule that I taught you guys in terms of the law in terms of mathematics called the distributive, I'm not sure if it was the distributive law, where writing this the same way, you can still write it by multiplying everything inside by 100. So it means that you're going to have 24,200 plus 100x. So you can still do and apply that for you to be able to calculate the value of x or to find the value of x. But this method I believe will be much simpler as time goes on when I explain everything in full. So here we can have 55 500 multiplied by 66,000 giving us 333,000. So once we have 33,000, so we can cancel the 100,000 from the left side and move it to the right side by dividing everything from the left side to the right side. So meaning that under this case, so I'm just gonna remove the underlining that is currently happening. So what's gonna happen is that when we divide both sides by 100, we're gonna be left with 242 plus x equals to, on this side when we divide 33,000 by 100, so meaning that we're going to be having 330 as our final answer. Therefore x will be equals to 330 minus 242. Therefore x is equals to 88. So we come back to the same. So this is another method that you can actually get to use, and then this is the other method you can use to solve for this. So what you actually required here was to calculate the percentage that he actually scored, which is 88%. So you could have usually used this method, or you could use the average method to say that for me to calculate the average of 66%, I would have to add all of this based on the average method or average formula, and then divide everything by the base. So if the base was 10, so we're going to say 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, given the number of modules that are 5, so the base was going to be 50. But this time, everything is a percentage, it is out of 100, so therefore our base become out of 500, which is based on the 100 of all the 5 modules. So if we go and say 330 divide by 50, so if we go and say 330 divide by 500, so it should give us 0.66. So when we multiply this by 100, it will give us 66%. So meaning that this, if we're to use an average method, we can calculate it back and then be able to achieve the value of x, which x represent the financing media. So this is what was required for you guys in the assessment. And then now we can move towards to question number 2. So in terms of question number 2, you were supposed to tick or classify the following account, whether this is an asset, liability, income, or an expense. Still, again, on this is still on page 26. So you are still supposed to manage to score all the marks on this question. So here it says they're giving an example to say donation received account. So when you receive donation, it becomes an income to your company. So what is an income? You will be able to use that income to do whatever to run the business. And then when there is donation paid, it means that you gave someone, you donated someone. So therefore, this will go towards expenses. And then we've got petty cash. So in terms of petty cash, so petty cash, this is the amount of cash that you have in your register that you're gonna use to give people change, or that you use to do some mini business activities during the day. So this is the amount that sits there. So it's an asset. So this is sort of like so since this is cash sitting in the business, so that will fall within an asset. Then we've got your sales. Sales, it's an income, so you're supposed to take income. Discount given, so you only get to give so discount given, so you were given a discount. So if you were to receive a discount, so it will say discount received. So discount given, so meaning that what is discount given? So discount given will be an expense. So you gave discount to your client, so meaning that you lost a bit of money. But when you receive discount, then we're gonna say that this is income because you are saving money. And then we've got bank overdraft, when you use money that you don't actually have in your account, so you go on an overdraft, so that will be a liability. So that is all was required in terms of question number 2. This now takes us now to question number 3. So under question number 3, it says that you are the owner of Boston Advertising Agency. So you have to actually analyze the following statement as the owner of the company. So when it comes to accounting treatment, please make sure that you treat yourself as a business. So in terms of 3.1, it says that you notice that your social media advertising sales have increased significantly in 2022. The sale for the social media advertising were 220, and while in 2023 sales were 335. So what is the percentage increase in the number of units sold from 2022 to 2023? So when we calculate a percentage increase, so we're taking a look in terms of the previous year to the current year to say that previous year we had 220, current year we had 355 as number of units that were sold. So when we take a look at an increase, we're gonna use what we call a base, which is the base is the previous year to say that, and we're comparing, we're taking a look in terms of increase from the current, from the previous year to the current. So therefore 200, the 2022 year, which is having 220 units, becomes the base on this calculation. So when you calculate the increase, so you are going to calculate first the year. When you calculate the percentage increase, first you need to understand what was the increase in terms of units. So that will be 355 minus 220, and this will give you 135. So this is the number of units that increased from 2020 to 2023. So to calculate the full percentage increase, so we're going to say 135 divided by 220, which is the base from the year that we are saying that there was an increase. So let's calculate that increase. So that will end up being 135 divided by 220. So that will be 61.35%. So that will be 61.35%. So this is the percentage increase. So meaning that if we go and add, calculate 61.35% of 220, and we add it back to 220, it will take us to 355. So that is what was required on this question. So the most important thing is that when you calculate any increase, the base is always from the previous year, not the current year, because we're taking a look in terms of to say that we had number of units increasing from the previous year to this year. So the increase will be based on the previous year to say that this is where we are coming from to this point. So how much was the increase from this point to that point that we are currently in. And then in terms of question number 3.2, so it says use the following information to answer 3.2 to 3.4. A client wants to purchase 20 large banners for BAA. You are able to provide these banners at a cost of 3,200 each, and the client is willing to buy them at 7,000 each. So just based on this scenario is that you produce banners and the clients want 20 banners. For you to produce that banner, it will cost you 3,200, and then the client is saying I am willing to buy them at 7,500. So they gave you an offer for 7,500 for each banner. So you might find that it's even more than what you actually charge, so you're gonna accept that. So this is what it's actually this scenario or this statement it's actually saying. So then the question says how much will the client pay for the full order. So under this one, what we are going to do is to say that the client is willing to buy this for 7,500. Sorry about that. So the client is saying that I'm willing to buy each banner for 7,500. So for the full order of 20, so that was going to be 20 multiplied by, that will be 20 multiplied by 7,500, which is what the client is willing to pay. So meaning that our total amount that the client will pay for this will be 150,000. So this is what we expect to receive from the client. And then the second question says how much gross profit will you make on these sales. So gross profit is equals to sales minus cost of sales. So this is what you are supposed to start as a first step of answering this question. The definition or the formula used to calculate gross profit. We are asking you what is the gross profit. So meaning that from this case, say from this statement, so what you're gonna do is that we are going to calculate first sales. So sales we already calculated it, it's 150,000. This is how much you're gonna receive. Then this brings us now to cost of sales. So in terms of cost of sales, under cost of sales, we are going to say that cost of sale is the cost of you making or being able to get the product to your place, and then the cost of also selling the product. So under this case, we are saying that you are able to provide this banner at 3,200. So therefore, cost of sales will be equals to 3,200, which is the cost of making one banner, multiplied by 20 banners. So this will actually get to give us 64,000. So meaning that the cost of sales will be 64,000. This will be the cost to make the banners, all 20 banners. So therefore, gross profit. So gross profit will be 150,000 minus 64,000. So this will all give us 86,000. So therefore the gross profit becomes 86,000. So another method to actually go and calculate this was to say that the selling price is 7,500 minus the cost of sales per unit. So therefore you're gonna have 4,300, and then from this 4,300 you are going to say 4,300 multiplied by 20, and then this was gonna give you 86,000. So these are the ways that you could have done to actually get to calculate the gross profit margin. Like I said, that in finance we only use principle. There is no specific way that you can actually do to say that this is the only way to calculate gross profit, but there is a principle. The principle is to say that gross profit is just sales minus cost of sales. How you calculate the sales or the gross profit, you can calculate it through sales per unit and cost of sales per unit, and then multiply by the quantity sold to get to the gross profit. Or you can just use straight full figures of cost of sales and sale to get to the current figures. So these are all types of way that you could have done to actually get to answer this question. Then this now brings us to 3.4. So in terms of 3.4, it says that what is your markup on a large banner? So markup, it is the percentage that you actually added on top of the cost of price to reach the selling price. So it is another terminology for this, which is the same as to say that what is the percentage increase from the cost price to the selling price. So what did you use as a markup? So in terms of selling price, we say this is a markup. This is your profit margin, to say that this is how much you want to earn in terms of from this product as part of sales. This is the profit that you will make before deduction of any other operating expenses that you actually incurred over there when you're trying to actually sell the banners. So meaning that to calculate the markup, we're gonna calculate it the same way we calculated the increase in terms of percentage. So here we already have the increase, which is from sorry, it was supposed to be 200. So we have got the gross profit of 4,300, which is the increase from the cost to the selling price, which is 4,300. So to calculate the increase, so we're calculating the markup from the cost. So meaning that the cost becomes the base. So meaning that under this case, sorry about that. So under this case, we are going to have 4,300 being divided by 3,200, which is going to give us 130 something. So let me just quickly confirm that. So that will be 4,300 divided by 3,200, and then when we multiply this by 100% by 100, so it's going to give us 134% comma 134,38%. So that's 134,38%. So rounding off that to the nearest two decimal. So this is the markup percentage that we expected you guys to calculate, and we have already covered a number of activities calculating this during the class when we also did the section A test in terms of as part of revision. I think on lesson number 10 we did cover this. So this is what you were supposed to calculate in terms of 3.2 to 3.4. And then this now brings us to 3.5 and 6. So 3.5 and 6, as I mentioned, that this one just required an understanding of some of the trick behind the English skills that was used here, the English communication skill. So it wasn't more in terms of calculation. The calculation was part of it, but for you to be able to get to the calculation and get them right, you needed to understand the scenario. So here it says BAA wants to buy material to print a special banner for an urgent order. The best quotation for 50 meter of the material is 60,000. So meaning that if you are going to buy 50 meter, you are going to spend 60,000. And then BAA will not receive any discount for the first 50 meters that they purchase in one order. So meaning that when we purchase in one order, even if our order is 200, the first 50 will not receive any discount. Thereafter, on a purchase that are over 50 meter, a general bulk discount of 50% applies. So meaning that if we're to buy things that are above 50, any item starting from 51 going upwards, those items will receive a 50% discount. So this is what this statement is actually saying. So this part was the tricky part under this scenario, to say that BAA will not receive any discount for the first 50 meters that they purchase in one order. So they will not receive any discount for purchase for the first 50 meter that they purchase in one order. Thereafter, on a purchase that are over 50 meters, a general bulk discount applies. So let's go to the questions. Yeah, the first question says calculate the price of one material ignoring the discount. So the first question of it's say calculate the price of 1 meter per material ignoring the discount. So we know that for 50 meters, you will pay 60,000. So therefore, if we divide 60,000 by 50 meters, this will give us 1,200 as the price of 1 meter material. And then now we can move to 3.6. So 3.6 says calculate the total cost if you purchase 150 meter of material, assuming a discount of 50% applied to bulk. So under this question, you are not supposed to go and say 150 meters multiplied by 1200. This will give you 180,000. So if you just did this, I was giving you just a 1 mark. So this question actually had 5 marks. So I was going to give you a mark just for this because you are still correct, but you haven't yet applied the discount. So you still need to show the marks for discount. So for discount, you are going to say that the first 50 meter multiplied by 1200 will not receive a discount, which means that we are still going to spend 60,000 on this. Then the second part was to go and say for anything above 50 we are going to receive a discount of 50%. So meaning that on the 100 meter multiplied by 1200, which the price was going to be 120,000, which is the total of 150 multiplied by 1000, which gives us 180. So this just shows us that the total cost for without discount is 180. Then now they say that thereafter on a purchase that are over 50 meter, a general bulk discount of 50% applies. So meaning that on the total cost of 100 meters of 120, which are the one above the 50 meter. So we've got 100 items that are above 50 meter, so which is 100 meter. So this one will receive a 50% discount. So we can go and calculate 50% of this, which is equals to 60,000. So meaning that the cost of 100 meter now is no longer 120,000, but is 120,000 minus 60,000, which therefore gives us that we only paid 60,000 for 100 meters. So therefore the total cost for this purchase of is going to be 60,000 for 50 meters plus the 60,000 we paid with including discount of 100 meters. So therefore the total cost is 120,000. So we spent 120,000. So meaning that for us to buy 150 meters, we went and spent 120,000 because the first 50 we're not gonna receive discount, but the 100 which is costing us 120 we're going to receive 50% discount. So therefore we're gonna receive a discount of 60,000. Therefore we only paid 60,000, and therefore the total cost will be 60,000, which is the one for 50 meters before discount, and for the 100 meters after discount. Therefore we have a total cost of 120. So this was the trick behind the question, this part. So this was the trick where you were so told that first 50 meter do not get discount, and then anything above 50 will receive a discount. So another way was just for you to go and do the discount on the price per unit and say if we're buying this at 1200 without discount, so after discount will be 600. Therefore when you say 100 multiplied by 600, it's going to give you 60,000, and you add it with the price of the 50 meter, and then you get to 120. And then we go to now question number 4. It says that partner A, B, C, and 4 invested 50,000, 30,000, 20,000 respectively in their business. They share the profit made according to the amount each has invested in the business. So what is the total profit the business made in the first year? So here there is a part missing based on what the paper that you wrote, to say that partner B received 5,000 as share of profit. So partner B received 5,000 as share of profit. So what is the total profit for the business made? So if partner B received 5,000 profit at the end of the first year, so okay, the statement is here, so there was no need for me to type it there, so we can just use the one that is already there. If partner B received 5,000 profit at the end of the first year, so we did during our lesson cover that when you want to calculate the share of profit, you are going to add all the contribution made So all contribution made, that is 50, that is 50,000 plus 30,000 plus 20,000. These are all equals to 100,000. So therefore, if they are going to share profit, partner A is going to receive his share of 50 out of 100. That will be the percentage of profit that is going to receive based on his contribution. Therefore, for partner B, so for partner B, we are going to say that 30,000 divided by 100,000. This is equal to 0.3 or 30%. So meaning that partner B, when he received profit, he received 30% of the profit. So meaning that when we calculated his profit of 5,000, we went and say 0.3 multiplied by the unknown value, which I will say it is X. This is equals to 5,000, which is the share of profit that he received. So meaning that we're going to end up having 0.3x equals to 5,000. So therefore, to get the value of x, we are going to say x is equals to 5,000 divided by 0.3. And therefore, x will be equals to 5,000 divided by 0.3, which is then give us 16,666,67. So this is the profit that the company actually get to make. So you are just supposed to apply this principle of calculating the profit to get to 5,000. So meaning that you could have went and say calculate it the following way, to say that to calculate the profit of partner B, we went and say 30,000 divide by 100,000. All of this will be multiplied by the profit we make, which is I'll just put it as B, which I don't know the profit. This will all equals to 5,000. Therefore, when we calculate this, so meaning that 30 divided by 100 will be 0.3 multiplied by the value of B, which is the profit, or let me call it P, which is the profit. So I'll just refer this to P, and this is equals to 5,000. So therefore, if we want to cancel 0.3 multiplying P and transfer it to that side, we divide everything by that. So therefore, P will still become 16,666,67. So that will be the value of P. So this is what was required for you to reverse or to calculate the missing element, which was P, to get to 5,000 share of profit. So this was the big trick that was there under this question. And then the second question says, how much profit will each other partners receive? So for in terms of the profit that each partner receives, so for partner A, we are going to say that he contributed 50,000. So partner A's profit will be 50,000 divided by 100,000. All of this will be multiplied by the profit of 16,666,67. This will then equals to 8,333,33. So let's just quickly confirm that. 50,000 divided by 100,000 multiplied by 16,666,67 cent. So that will be 8,333 rand, 33 cents, or 34. So this is the answer for partner A. And then for partner C, so I'll just give you the answer and you guys will have to actually get to calculate that. So the answer for that will be 3,333,33. So you just apply the same principle that we performed on partner A to get to answer for partner C. And then now this brings us to question number 5. Guys, this question was as easy as they come, and I was expecting you guys to actually score all the marks in terms of question number 5. We did this question as part of revision in the lesson number 2, which there was a question similar to exactly this one, which if you actually went and practiced and view and attended the class, you would have noticed that this was a giveaway mark to say that complete the payslip salary for Cyril for December 2023. So when you complete the payslip, there will be a total income to say that what is the total income for Cyril, all the income we received that is represented in his payslip, which is the basic salary and the bonus received. So under this case, we are having 42,000 plus 8,000. So that is 42,500 plus 8,000. So that will be 50,500. So that will be 50,500. And then in terms of total deduction, that will be 5,200 plus 25 plus 50, that will be 5,275. So meaning that his deduction for his contribution, or what they are deducting in terms of his income, is that they are going to deduct tax, they are going to deduct UIF, which is unemployment fund, and they also contribute towards the union, which bargain for you guys or try to fight for you guys in terms of to get the right salary, or they are called the bargaining unit or union that bargain on behalf of all employees to say that employees are being underpaid and the standard of living is very high. So that's the contribution that he is contributing towards. So the salary paid into his bank account will be the total income that he earned over the December period, minus all the deduction that we made over the December period. So meaning that his total salary, or the net salary that was paid into his account, was 50,500 minus 5,275, which means that his net income was 45,245, 225. So this one was 45,225 rand. So this is his income that was paid into his bank account. And then 5.2 says salaries are regarded or classified as in a business accounting. So salaries are classified as expenses. So this is another one on page 26 or 36 on your textbook. And then this brings us now to question number 6. So in terms of question number 6, it says use the following extract from BAA financial statement and answer the following question. So question number 1 says write down the full amount, the full mathematical number representing the total amount of revenue generated by Boston Advertising Agency for the period. So this is Boston Advertising Energy extract from financial statement. It's an extract from the financial statement. You have been given revenue stream, that this is how this company actually get to generate revenue. They do advertisement banners. So they've got 34 clients this year that actually came and bought banners, and the total revenue that they created was 288,000. So one of the most important things that you guys missed was this, which I explained during class, that uh, sometimes you will find amount written with this or written M here to say that all the amount represented below, all the values represented below, they are in million, thousands, or billion. So in our case, we've got the 3 zeros here to say that this amount is here represented below. It's in hundreds values, is in thousands value. So meaning that this is written as 200. This will be read as 288,000, 195,439,000, and then this will be then read as 1,949,000. So here it says write the full mathematical number, which is for the total revenue, so which is 1 million. So that will be read that will be written as 1,949,000.00, which, because we don't have the decimals, we don't have any remainder or cents. And then it asks you to write the total revenue amount in English. So this will be written as 1 million, comma 949,000 rand. So this is how you were supposed to answer this one. So it was simple. We also performed this during lesson number 10. Around the total revenue amount off to the nearest thousand place value. So what you're supposed to do is go and take a look at this value. that you wrote here to say that, okay, this value is 1,949,000. So in terms of rounding off to the nearest 100,000 place, so the value that is within the 100,000 is 9. So the value behind it, is it above 5 or 4? Is it above 5 or below 5? So since it is below 5, it is a 4. Therefore, the value of 9 will remain the same. So therefore, if we were to round this, we're gonna have the value being 1,900,000. And then the last one says calculate the average revenue received per client for social media management. So social media management, we have got a total revenue of 523,000 and total client of 49. So therefore the average revenue for that is going to be 523. I'll just confirm if that's the right amount. Yes, 523,000. All this will be divided by 49,000, which are the number of clients. So therefore the average revenue received per client for social media management will be 10,674 rand, 46 cent. So this is the average price received per client. And then now takes us to 6.5. So in terms of 6.5, it says BAA will introduce a general price increase on all services for the next reporting period. And due to recent marketing drive, the management of BAA is also expecting that the number of clients for radio advertisement, the number for the clients for radio advertisement clients will increase by 20%. So calculate the expected revenue amount for radio advertisement for the next reporting period. So under this activity, so the only trick that most people do manage to fail is because to understand this part here, this section here, this small part, it says that BAA will introduce a general price increase of 6%. So what most of you did not understand that the increase is on price, not on revenue. So all these figures that you are seeing here, these are revenues, not price. So for you to get the price, you need to divide the revenue by the number of clients, then it will give you the price per client or per service that they are rendering. To say if it's radio advertisement, this is how much each client was paying to advertise, to do a radio advertisement. If it's TV advertisement, this was the amount. So under this question 6.5, so we are talking now in terms of radio advertisement. So radio advertisement under this activity actually had 439,000 in terms of revenue, and its clients were 22. So let's calculate first the price. So that was what was required first. So we had 439,000. This will have first to be divided by 22 clients to get to the price that was charged for radio advertisement. So if you went and multiply 439 by 6%, you are actually increasing the revenue, not the price. So therefore we are going to say 439,000 divided by 22 clients. So this will give us 19,954, 19,954, 55 cents. So this is the price that they are charging for radio advertisement per whole month. So therefore this was the price that was charged to radio advertisement clients. So therefore there's going to be an increase of 6%. So the increase of 6% will be 19,954,55 cents multiplied by 6%. So therefore we can actually get to have the increase. So we're gonna multiply this by 6%. So that will be 1,197,27 cents. 1,197,27 cents. So this is the price increase. So if the price increase is 1,000, so therefore the new price will actually be 19,954,55 cents plus 1,197,27 This will then equals to, this will give us the new price. So meaning that now the new radio advertising price will become 21,151.82 cents. So that will be 21,151.82 cents. And then this now brings us to clients. So in terms of clients, they're saying clients will increase by 20%. So we're at 22 clients before, so therefore multiply this by 20%. This will give us the number of increase in terms of clients. So therefore that's 22 multiplied by 20%, that's giving us 4,4. So we're gonna have a increase in clients by 4,4, so that's 22 plus 4,4, this giving us new clients being 26,4. So you can either round this to 27 or to say it's 26 clients. So depending on whichever method that you use to say that, you can justify this to say the rounding off says that anything below 5, it doesn't change the value. But since we are now talking about clients, we cannot have a comma for client. We'll turn this to a full client to say that we're going to have 27 clients. So therefore the new revenue will be equals to the advertising cost of 21,151.82. All of this will be then be multiplied by the new clients that we're going to receive, which are 27,000. So therefore we can go and say 27 multiplied by 21,151.82 cents. So this will give us a total of 571,000 and 99.14 cents. So this is the new radio revenue advertisement. So most of you guys end up going and saying 439 multiplied by 6%, which you are calculating a increased revenue. You are calculating the increased revenue. You are not increasing the general price. So the general price was 19,000, and therefore the increase in the general price was 1,197, and therefore the new radio advertisement cost was 21,151. And then in terms of client, we had 22, and there was an increase of 20%, so therefore we have an increase of 4.4, leading us to new clients of 26.4, which you can either round it to 27 or 26 given your justification. And therefore the new revenue will be the new increased price multiplied by the new increase in client, giving us 571,099.14 cents. So that's what was required in terms of 6.5. And then this takes us to 6.6, revenue. So it is the accounting element that summarizes the inflow of income to the business. So what other main element is necessary to calculate the profit? So this is expenses. To calculate profit, we need to have expenses. So that is income minus expenses to get to profit. And then here we've come to this one to say question number 7. Insert the correct symbol between the numbers to make the statement true. 2 trillion, 5 billion, we know that 2 trillion is greater than 5 billion because we move from million to billion then trillion, and minus 77 to minus 2, so the more the negative it becomes lesser to the smaller negative amount, so meaning that minus 755 is lesser than minus 247. And under this one, 23% to 2,2 divided by 9. So all of this is 0. This one will be 0,23. This one will be 0,24. So meaning that 23% is greater than 2 out of 9. And then comes to 121. 121 is a positive number compared to a negative. So meaning 121 becomes the greater amount. So this is what you were requested under this question. And this is how you answer the question, understanding the values of integers. Lesson number 1. So section A, we are done, and then now we move to section number B. So section number B, you are supposed to use page 26, most of it. So it says that list the current assets and current liability for BAA as presented in the above trial balance for the year ended December 2023. So you are supposed to go here and look in terms of the current assets and current liabilities. So under this section, I'm just going to take it to you guys to go and look in terms of page 26, understand the current assets and current liabilities. So I'm just going to list them down here on based on what we have here. So what we actually have here, we've got trade inventory, petty cash, and then we've got debtors control. So those are all that we have. So we've got debtors control, and then here we've got trading inventory, and then here we're gonna have what we call your petty cash. And then this side we're gonna have your creditors control, and then your bank overdraft. And then question number 9 says list non-current assets and non-current liabilities. So here we have land and building, and then we've got vehicles, sorry guys, from I think my vehicle spelling is a bit off. Okay, it's right. Felt like I wrote something wrong. And then we're gonna have equipment here. So guys, please go and read page 26, understand whatever comes after page 26. It's explaining types of current assets account and types of non-current assets. All of these are part of page 26. So this was a giveaway mark. And then here we're gonna have mortgage. Mortgage, let's see if I wrote it right. Mortgage loan, which is a long-term loan, which is form part of non-current liabilities. So this was the 4 marks and the 5 marks. So these were giveaway marks if you just open page 26. And then question number 10 says calculate the net profit for the year BAA. Here for the year ended for BAA. So when you calculate net profit, we do know that net profit is all the income minus expenses. So you are supposed to come to your nominal account section, add everything that is on the right side, and then subtract everything on the debit side, which are all the expenses. This was going to give you the net profit. So I'm going to leave this one to you guys. So it's I'm just going to come here and say all incomes minus all expenses, then you're gonna have that. And for the equity, there are two methods. I'll say method one. Method one is to go and say owner's equity, it's assets, minus liabilities. So that was it. So you can go and add all the assets and subtract all the liabilities. You will get the owner's equity. Or method number two will equals to capital contributed by the owner plus the net profit that you actually got on on number 10. Then you subtract the drawings. Then this will give you the owner's equity. So just perform that and you'll be able to get the amount. So take a look into that. So if you understand all the concept on page 26 to see these are the account, then you'll be able to do that. So in terms of assets, so what you're supposed to do, I think I may be bit far. So what you're supposed to do is to take everything on this side, add everything together from this side, and then subtract everything on this side. Then you will actually get your owner's equity. So that will be the balance. The balance will actually be your owner's equity. So that's the assets minus the liabilities. Assets are on the debit, liabilities are on the credit. And then explain the difference between gross profit and net profit. So gross profit is your income minus all minus your cost of sales, and then net profit is the profit after all deductions. So in another term, you can just go and say net profit is the gross profit minus all my operating expenses, interest and tax. So you can use that terminology. So you can write that one down. And in terms of question number 13, it says that by adjusting the formula, net profit equals to total revenue minus total expense, determine the cost of sales for the business for 2023. So under this one, what we are supposed to go and say is that NP, which is net profit, equals to TR minus TE. So we're saying that net profit equals to total revenue minus total expenses. And here it says that determine the cost of sales for 2023. It was 5 mark. You are given that the business expenditure for the year excluding cost of sales was 23,876, and net profit for the year was 1,238,691 rand, and total revenue is 1,985,775 rands. So meaning that to calculate this, you're gonna write net profit this side to say net profit is 1,238,691, which all of this is equals to my revenue of 1,985,775 minus, then we're gonna open brackets, 323 876 rand plus the cost of sales, which is unknown value. So meaning that for us to get to this net profit, we would have went and said total revenue minus total expense, but under our case or our scenario, we are told that our business expenditure excluded the cost of sale, which we don't know the value, but the business expenditure was 323 excluding cost of sales. So meaning that when we get to the net profit, we actually minus with the cost of sales to get there. So therefore, we're gonna solve X or assume that X is the cost of sales. So you can just come and write here instead of that cost of sales. So meaning that now you are going to solve for cost of sales. So meaning that you are going to have one, two, okay, something is off here. So let me just remove the underlining. So meaning that here we're gonna have 1,238,691 being equals to 1,985,775 minus 323,876 minus cost of sales. So therefore, if we make cost of sales subject of the formula, then we'll have cost of sales being equals to 1,985,775 minus 323,876 sorry about that, 876. So we move the cost of sales, since it's negative, from this side to this side to make it positive, and now we're moving this one to this side, so therefore it becomes negative. So therefore we're gonna have 1,238,691. So therefore we can go and use our financial calculator to solve for cost of sales. So that is 423,208. So therefore cost of sales, it equals to 423,208. So that is the value of cost of sales. So in terms of section B, this is what was required, and then this now brings us to section C. So this is what was actually required in terms of section C. You are just supposed to put the value where it was. In terms of sales, you do know that based on the lessons that we have, so sales is equals to, open brackets, the value of sales less sales return. So this is how you calculate the value of revenue. So this is the value of sales minus your sales return. This will give you the total sales, and the total sales was 2. If you do that, you're gonna get 2,811,000, and then your cost of sales is actually 2,011,000. Therefore, this brings us to gross profit of 800,000. So these are based on the value. So you take 2,852,53 minus the sales return of 42,000. This is the value that you get, and then you come to this part. So here you are just supposed to identify operating income. So operating incomes, those are all other incomes that the business earned during part of operating the business. So they are not related, or these are part of profit that are completely part of the operation of the business. So any income that we earn outside of the operation of the business will be treated as other income, or within interest income if it is an investment. So under this case, we have got services rendered. Services rendered, we have got discount. I think there was discount received, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we do have discount received, and we also have got rent income. So these were the three that we were supposed to put in here. And you will place their values here to say that for services rendered, my value is 4,750. And for this one, discount received, you received a discount of 2,870, and then rent income was 121,000. So therefore you add the two together to give you 128,620. Therefore this brings us to a gross operating income of 928,620. And then from there you just copy and paste the salaries and wages amount, VL amount, telephone amount, station. So these were all free marks that I was expecting you guys to grab. And then comes to this part. So here you're gonna have a total of all your salaries and wages, or all your operating expense. This will become more 570, 100 something. So I just forgot the amount. So this will be the amount that you will actually get by adding all the expenses. And then you're gonna go and say my gross operating income minus operating expense. This will give me operating profit. And then from there you're gonna have your interest income. So interest income, we only have got one, which is 4,860. So we're gonna have 4,860, and then you're gonna added with the operating income to get profit and loss before interest expense, and then your interest expense are 25,000. Then you put your 25,000 and you subtract it from the profit and loss to get to net profit. So that was all that was required in terms of this assessment. So I hope this is helpful and it will help you in terms of those who are writing supplementary in understanding and making sure that you do not repeat the same mistake that you make. Please make sure that you collect all your papers during class. I do have your papers. I will be bringing them to class on campus this Friday. So please make sure that you also have you come and collect. The week of the 1st of May, all our classes are going to be online, so meaning that you are not going to be able to collect any of the papers, so you're going to collect them after on the 2nd week of May. So if you haven't collected your script, please make sure that the 2nd week of May you come and collect your script, so that you can be able to see where you went wrong and how you can actually get to rectify and where did you score more marks, so that this will allow you that when you go back to practicing, there will be a focus area that you will focus on, that you believe that you were lacking on this area. So with all this said, so this is all in terms of the F1 revision that we have covered. I hope now you understand how to interpret question or how to analyze the question, and you will be able to apply the concept very right in terms of your assessment, of your summative assessment or supplementary. So please have a good day, and please tune in for lesson number for the next lesson, which is going to